The Midgard Kingdom has a long history of sponsoring private military academies across the globe, places where the children of the world's most powerful are sent to hone their leadership skills and prepare to serve the throne should the need arise. But these academies are for more than just preparing for battle. They are nexus points for the scions of the world's most powerful families, places where the heirs of corporations and children of nobility meet, planting the seeds for the business ventures, political marriages, and strategic partnerships that will shape their world. When Pegasus founded Duel Academy, he dreamt of a place that might be different, where merit could rise above birthright. But dreams don't pay the bills. To fund his dream, he had to pitch it to investors in terms they already understood. A new form of military academy. But for many of them, the idea of mixing children from lower-class families was unheard of. So Pegasus struck a deal. Virtually the entire southeast quadrant of the island was sectioned off for the Blues, a private domain that would belong exclusively to them, away from the common students. From this compromise, Obelisk Blue was born. Some are prodigies, rising to greatness with both unmatched talent and unlimited resources to cultivate it. Others flounder, consumed by the weight of their own arrogance. What binds them together is the instinct to dominate. They've been raised as predators, driven by a deep-seated belief that they were born to rule. Today, you will be introduced to some of the residents of the Obelisk Blue Boys' Dorm, a fortress that rises above the rest of the academy like a monument to excess. Obelisk Blue is a kingdom, and its kings are restless. Enraged by the presence of lesser students on campus, they've waged a ruthless campaign to make the lives of students from Slifer and Ra unbearable, hoping to drive them out. They've even started buying booster boxes in bulk, not to improve their strategies, but to lock away valuable cards, ensuring that the lower dorms are left scrambling for scraps. The Blue Boys aren't just playing to win. They're playing to make sure no one else can. At the highest level of the nobility stands the ancient bloodlines, houses that have shaped the world for generations, each headed by an archduke, a title second only to that of the prince. Among them, 8 are represented at Duel Academy. And the first is Professor Kronos of House Medici, the Wardens of Italia. Professor Kronos de Medici is the headmaster of the Obelisk Blue Boys' Dorm and serves as the Professor of Military Strategy and Tactical Studies. House Medici once commanded respect across the kingdom, but they've slowly watched their territory dwindle down to only a single country, a shadow of their former glory. But no one's told them that. The Medicis still strut around with an air of superiority, trying to maintain the illusion of power. This pitiful display has turned them into something of a running joke among the old bloodlines. And at the center of this farce stands Kronos. As the Archduke's cousin, Kronos technically holds no titles, but you wouldn't know it by the way he parades around the academy. Last year, he made it to the semi-finals of the Italian qualifiers, earning an invitation to Duelist Kingdom. Upon reaching the island, he was knocked out in less than 20 minutes. But Kronos is nothing if not a master of self-deception. He constantly speaks of his stint in competitive dueling as if it were a victory. With no heirs of age to attend the academy, Archduke Medici threatened to pull funding if Pegasus didn't take Kronos as a professor. The other staff work around him, giving him busy work and holding meetings after the meeting just to keep him out of the loop. Kronos openly encourages the Blues' bullying campaign, and he's even decided to secretly break ranks and use his real deck in the tournament today. So petty that he can't bear the thought of losing to his students, even when the point is to help them grow. Of course, he hasn't even considered that he could still lose. And if that happens, that might just be more humiliation than he can handle. Our next competitor is the only competitor you will meet today who is not from the ancient bloodlines. He is something different. In recent decades, a profound shift has taken place. The rise of business moguls, self-made tycoons who accumulated unimaginable wealth, redefined the very concept of a noble. The prince recognized the vital role these business empires play in the modern world and elevated them to noble standing. Now, through financial conquest, a commoner can purify themselves, so to speak, and join the ranks of the nobility. These two groups, business elites and old world aristocracy, now coexist, two pillars of the global power structure. And Saburo Manjoume was the pioneer of this new world order. A century ago, Saburo rose from humble beginnings to found the Manjoume Group, an investment firm that took the world by storm. Saburo carved the world's oldest power structure in his image, becoming the first ever purified commoner. His children inherited his empire, but their grip slipped, and they were dethroned by new players like Industrial Illusions and Kaiba Corp. But now that both have fallen out of favor with the prince, the next generation of the Manjoume family, led by Chosaku and Shoji Manjoume, are bent on clawing their way back to the top. They've demonstrated shrewd business acumen, ensuring the group's dominance in multiple sectors. But they understand that true supremacy in the modern world relies on the next great battlefield, duel monsters. And for now, Industrial Illusions and Kaiba Corp still control the very card game and technological systems that the game relies on. So they've set their sights on the one thing no one can buy with wealth alone, the King of Games title. Chosaku and Shoji have already secured spots in the Pro League, but this is a temporary measure. The brothers' main focus remains their expanding business empire, and thus, the task of conquering the dueling world falls squarely on the shoulders of their youngest brother, Jun Manjoume. Freed from the responsibilities of managing the family's empire, Jun has been given a singular purpose: to dominate the game of duel monsters and cement his family's supremacy. At Duel Academy, the Manjoume name is spoken in hushed whispers. Every noble child is raised hearing stories of the family that bent the nobility to its will. Jun finds them pathetic, living on borrowed prestige, propped up by tradition rather than conquest. They are zoo animals in gilded cages, raised to believe they are predators, but too domesticated to hunt. Jun is not like them. He is the apex predator, the inevitable future. In Jun's eyes, the King of Games isn't just a title, it's his birthright. Hozan Gokaido, heir to House Gokaido, the wardens of the Zanjian Rift. From the thunderous cavalry charges of antiquity to the multi-theater conflicts that have defined modern warfare, the Gokaidos have always been at the forefront of military history. It is said that the ancient warlords of House Gokaido were the architects of the kingdom's earliest victories, their strategies and tactics still studied in military academies across the world. For their service, House Gokaido was granted dominion over the Zanjian Rift. From the shores of South and Eastern Africa, they exert military control over critical maritime choke points, like the Mozambique Channel and the Cape of Good Hope. And there's a reason they call it the Rift. According to legend, the Pacific Ocean awakens in times of war, swallowing any fleet that dares trespass against the kingdom. Whether myth or deterrent, the effect is the same. No invading force dares pass through. That leaves only one path to the kingdom's capital in the Western Hemisphere, through the Rift. And there, House Gokaido waits, the Iron Gate of the Midgard Kingdom. If war comes from the east, it will break against the Rift before it ever reaches the throne. But war is not what it once was. After the rise of business moguls like the Manjoumes, the Gokaidos struggled to hold on to their proud tradition. The battlefield, once ruled by steel and strategy, has been overrun by men in suits, unworthy upstarts from the Americas who see war not as art, but as industry. One where patents and profits matter more than honor, discipline, and the mastery of combat itself. This perversion of the old traditions has already bled into the next generation of warfare. Duel monsters. The prince foolishly allowed industrial illusions and Kaiba Corp to secure monopolies over the game. And now, emboldened by their unchecked power, they have begun to test the limits of the prince's rule. This is the price of letting businessmen play at war. Hozan aims to prove that warriors will always dominate over self-made kings and corporate lapdogs. If Duel Monsters is the new battlefield, then he will claim it as his own. And that starts with crushing one Jun Manjoume. Manjoume believes himself to be a predator, but Hozan intends to show him what a real predator looks like. By defeating Manjoume, winning the tournament, and taking his place at the top of the school, Hozan will prove that the old ways, the ways of military honor and battle-hardened strength, will always prevail over self-important leeches in tailored suits. Taiyo Torimaki, heir to House Torimaki, the Wardens of the Viridian Expanse. Taiyo Torimaki was born into absurd privilege. The heir to House Torimaki's vast holdings in the Viridian Expanse, a region of untamed wealth that stretches from the rainforests of Central Africa to the Ivory Coast. Theirs is a kingdom of resources, cash crops, rare minerals, and ivory once hoarded like gold. And Taiyo has known nothing but comfort because of it. As a child, he was frail and coddled, sickly and sheltered in his family's palatial estate. His mother pampered him, whispering soothing assurances that he was special, destined for greatness, her servants chasing away every moment of discomfort. His father, disgusted by what they had created, holds out hope that Duel Academy will help Torimaki become a leader worthy of his house's name. But Duel Academy has done nothing but nurture Torimaki's worst qualities. He thrives off borrowed strength, wielding his name like a shield, and clinging to the coattails of powerful duelists like Jun Manjoume. Torimaki is ruthlessly cruel to the commoners in the other dorms. But when anyone dares to fight back, he stammers, retreats, just as he always has. Still, his deck is made up of some of the most expensive cards money can buy. He hopes this will be enough for him to win the tournament today and earn his father's respect. Raizo Mototani, heir to House Mototani, the Wardens of the Black Gold Crescent. As the heir to House Mototani, which controls the Black Gold Crescent and its vast oil reserves, there is little that Raizo has ever wanted that he could not have. His family stands at the intersection of old-world aristocracy and modern corporate power. Oil money keeps the world running, and House Mototani holds the spigot. From the moment he could walk, he was whisked between the most lavish destinations: Dubai, Domino, New York, sometimes all in the same weekend. He's met archdukes, dined with CEOs, and watched world leaders make deals over glasses of the finest champagne. But for Raizo, responsibility has always been an afterthought. Instead, he embraces a different path, one of endless pleasure and recklessness. But what comes next has finally caught up to him, and his father has made it clear: playtime is over. And he's been sent to Duel Academy to prove that he can one day uphold the family dynasty. The question is, will he embrace the role he was born into, or will he go down fighting, desperately clutching the last remnants of freedom? Ryo Marufuji, heir to House Marufuji, Wardens of the Midnight Tundra. House Marufuji is the pinnacle of human ambition, a dynasty that has shaped the world for generations over, standing just beneath the prince himself in prestige and influence. House Marufuji rules over the Midnight Tundra, a land encompassing all of Russia, so vast and untamed that other houses would be crushed beneath its weight. But to the Marufujis, there is no such thing as impossibility. For centuries, they have shaped every field worth conquering, Warfare, finance, philosophy, espionage, diplomacy, art, every generation walks a different path. But the destination never changes. Perfection, absolute mastery, an unchallenged reign over their chosen domain. Unlike the lesser houses that cling to their titles as birthrights, the Marufujis believe that their greatness is not destiny. It is the result of centuries of discipline, intelligence, and ambition. For as long as the kingdom has existed, the Marufujis have stood by the throne. But a few years ago, Archduke Marufuji made a decision that sent ripples through the kingdom. Instead of sending Ryo Marufuji to the traditional halls of military academia, they placed him under the direct mentorship of Nobu Samejima, the fallen general, the man whose very name is a challenge to the throne. The Marufujis claim this decision is nothing more than the pursuit of excellence. Samejima was the greatest leader of his time, and the Marufujis will accept nothing less for their own. But whispers have begun to spread. Perhaps for a family that has stood at the pinnacle for generations, there is only one thing left to take. The general's study smelled of war, not of blood, but the things that came before it. Gunpowder, leather, and oil-stained maps. Ryo sat in the center of it all, 14 years old, ready for his first lesson. Samejima sat across from him, arms crossed. He studied Ryo for a long moment, then spoke. "Do you know why you're here?" Ryo straightened. "To become the greatest warrior of my age. To bring honor to the prince in the name of House Marufuji." "No. Your parents didn't send you here to bring honor to the prince, Ryo. They sent you here because they want you to kill him." The words landed like a blow to the chest. His family was a pillar of the kingdom. It was a lie, a test. It had to be. "Your parents believe the kingdom is stagnated under the prince's rule. They want it remade in their image. And they intend for you to lead that charge. House Tenjoin aims to join them." Ryo blinked back tears, face hot, angry. He opened his mouth to protest, but something caught in his throat. A memory. His father speaking in hushed tones in the dead of night. The tension in his mother's posture as the prince passed by in court. He felt something cold curling through his stomach. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because I don't mold weapons, Ryo. I build leaders. I will forge you into the finest warrior of your generation. But as you grow, I charge you with this duty. Study the world. Understand it. See it for what it truly is. Who holds power? Who deserves it? Who doesn't? And when the time comes, if you use my teachings to march soldiers into battle, if you choose to spill the blood of men, it will not be because of lofty things like honor. It will not be because it was expected of you. It will be because you saw a path for a better world, and you chose to take it." Ryo would later come to understand that this was Article 4 of the General's Rules of Leadership, the code that defined Samejima's philosophy. All 5 were bound by a single idea: respect. Article 1, respect your enemies. Underestimation is the death of victory. Article 2, respect your allies. Respect is a mirror. Offer it sincerely, and it will be returned. Offer it falsely, and you will see the lie staring back at you. Article 3, respect your subordinates. Loyalty is not demanded. It is given freely to those who deserve it. Article 4, respect the world. War is not just about achieving victory. It is about ensuring that victory means something. Article 5, respect yourself. A leader's greatest enemy is their own complacency. Now a third year at Duel Academy, Ryo Marufuji stands alone at the summit. His dominance is so complete that his peers no longer speak of defeating him, only of surviving the match. The students have given him a title, the Kaiser. But Ryo has no interest in titles. He is no king. He is a student, still learning, still searching for the answer to the very first question Samejima ever asked him. "Do you know why you're here?" The world is shifting, the air thick with the weight of something coming, something vast, something unstoppable, and Ryo Marufuji stands at its crossroads.